more dribble from the member for Bruce. I mean, this guy continues to play the class clown. Here we are talking about the collapse in living standards under this government, and he starts talking about, oh, we only mention Anglos. We only mention Anglos. Well, maybe he should have mentioned Zahid Safi, who's the Liberal for Bruce, running in his seat against him, who was born in Afghanistan. He failed to mention Zahid, the Liberal candidate that wants to take this guy on. Instead, he goes on about Peter Dutton's TikTok account. Well, I'll tell you what, Zahid Safi has 280 likes on his Facebook, so if you want to criticise him, member for Bruce, come back down and do that. You want to talk about Anglos and all the rest of it? Maybe what you should be doing, Assistant Minister, and well done on your promotion, and all of those opposite, including the Minister with his back to the dispatch box here, is concentrate on the living standards that have fallen in Australia in the last 2 years. Because what's happened for people in the gallery, people in my electorate, people right around the country, if you think back just 2 years ago, people did have a lot more money, a lot more disposable income. Right now, since this government was elected, those living standards have fallen through the floor. And you just have to look at what the Assistant Minister said, Deputy Speaker. The first two things he mentioned, somehow that this government, the Albanese government, is doing to help with cost of living. What did he mention? He mentioned tax cuts and he mentioned a $300 electricity rebate. But what he failed to tell you is that the Prime Minister, prior to the last election, promised that the stage 3 tax cuts that the coalition had legislated, and at the time they approved, that my word is my bond, I won't change them. And then he went and changed them, and now they want credit for it. They wouldn't even be delivering tax cuts if it wasn't for the coalition. And then he mentioned a $300 rebate, but failed to tell you that the Prime Minister promised a $275 reduction in your electricity bill. Now, I haven't met anyone around the country yet who's had their electricity bill fall by $275. So what have they done? Oh, we'll give you a $300 rebate, a one-off thing for 1 year, but your electricity has continuously gone up after that. Now, people in my electorate that have written into me, Carol from Mango Hill, when is Labor going to stop wasting money on renewables that in most cases are worse for the environment and start investing in our own resources? And today the Minister for the Environment was asked about the environmental damage that has been done by resource projects around the country, and all she could say is, oh, in some cases there's a little bit, or we're working with people to prevent environmental damage. Sandeep from Griffin said the cost of living is impacting everything, especially interest rates. But what does the Prime Minister get up and say in Parliament today? At 2:21 he said, Australians understand that I lead a government that gets things done. Well, what are you getting done? What are you actually getting done beside higher mortgages, higher rents, higher insurances, less disposable income? You know, I mean, he spent $500 million on a voice and ran around for months carrying on about it, that 68% of the country voted no to. Not one state voted for it. That was his priority the last 2 years, not the people of Petrie that I represent or Australians right around the country. And the Treasurer was just as bad. At 2:37 today, the Treasurer was asked about interest rates. And what did he say? 12 interest rate rises in a row under them. So he focused on the coalition and said, oh, it started under us. We had one interest rate rise in 9 years. In 2 years, they've had 12 interest rate rises, and someone with a mortgage of $730,000 has gone up $30,000 in interest, right? And they carry on about women going back to work. No wonder they're going back to work. Their mortgage has gone up $30,000. And this isn't just the case in Petrie, it's right around the country. And I'll tell you what really identifies how bad this Albanese Labor government is and what an appalling job they're doing in a collapse in living standards, and that is homelessness right around the country. Anywhere where you go at the moment, you will see more and more rough sleeping, and statistics don't lie, because under the coalition government, rough sleeping fell and reduced at the last census under this government, they've doubled. They've gone through the roof, and they'll continue to get worse. So, Deputy Speaker, homelessness up, cost of living up.